White, a color that invokes nostalgic memories. Things that have been forgotten. Things that shouldn't have been forgotten. Things that my father ordered me to forget. What is this scenery? Are we in like a forest? Yep, looks like it. I think it's gonna show the moment. A hot summer day. The blue sky, huge towering thunderheads on the horizon. The landscape shimmering in the heat. The overwhelming cries of cicadas. The cicada chorus. Chirping. It's so loud that I want to die. The husks of cicadas litter the open ground. The clearing is slowly being burned away, as though the sun is right on top of us. A hot midsummer day, as if the world had turned into a frying pan. Wah 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 wah. Yeah, it's showing the woman. Akia's crying. Akia, who had always meekly followed us around, is sobbing uncontrollably. Yeah, there's the dead kid. A child lies crumpled in the clearing. A deep red stain had blossomed on their white shirt. They don't move so much as an eyebrow. So what's the context behind this? Are you gonna, describe it in more detail? I'm gazing down at the scene before me. My hands are red like the child collapsed in a heap on the ground. No, that's not right. My hands are red with blood of the living being collapsed in a heap on the ground.
Shiki!
The adults have arrived. As they realize what they're looking at, the color drains from their faces.
なんてことだ。
The adults take Akia away. The collapsed child remains dead. Brilliant white clouds drift across the distant sky. I'm left all alone, staring vacantly up into the summer sky above.
お前が殺したのか。
Everything just went monochrome with that, holy shit. The adults are screaming at me. They're screaming the name of the person who killed that child. My name. They scream just those two syllables over and over, as though they've lost their minds. Just two syllables. The adults form into a group and pin me down on Mase. Me, with my hands stained a deep red. Me, the one they call Shiki. Even now, I still don't understand it. Killing those you can kill. Killing those that live. What exactly is wrong with that? That's quite the question. It's morning. I open my eyes. I'm pretty sure I just had some nostalgic yet incomprehensible dream. I'm in my room. I can't remember anything that happened last night after I made it to the main gate, but it seems like I must have managed to make it back here somehow. Yeah, quite an eventful night that was. My mind obstinately refuses to work properly. Last night's events come back to me in a jumbled mess. Everything was so ridiculous that it's hard for me to put my thoughts in order. But if there's one thing that stands out, it's... Okay. So, kind of a weird decision, but sure. I mean... It would probably... I guess I can kind of, think why... So basically, it's either... What stands out is Arcoade's attitude at the end, the shadowy figure that we fought, or Noel Sensei, just being a member of the church. For me, probably Arcoade. I don't know what the hell was up with her. I mean, how could she not stand out? True to form, she had me wrapped around her finger from the minute she staged her daylight raid on our school to the end of our nightly patrol. At least, is that a typo? I don't know. There was also the incredible show she put on for me during the fight in the apartment the dead had taken over. 7 days ago, I wouldn't even have been able to imagine such a scene. Keeping up with her just gets more demanding by the day. It's getting to the point where I feel I ought to tell her to rein it in a bit. Although, I do have to give her credit for the fact that she is, in her own way, taking care to make sure that I don't get hurt. That, and the fact that there's never a dull moment when she's around. As a result, when I try to think of complaints or grievances I have with her, I come up empty-handed. But why was she so distraught at the end? The one thing that's bothering me is that reaction. I'm sure she's just paying the price for being so rambunctious even though her wounds haven't healed yet. When I get the chance tonight, I'll try and confirm if she really has fully recovered or not.
とにかくまず起きないと。
I still have plenty of things I need to think about, but right now, I need to get myself out of bed. The time is 7:30 a.m. I'd normally be long finished with breakfast by this hour.
翡翠はいないな。
She's normally standing deferentially to the side of the room, but there's no sign of her today. She must have already tried to wake me several times. I assume that since I wouldn't wake up, she's stepping out of the room between attempts to tend her to her other duties.
疲れが溜まってて目が覚めなかったんだろうな。
I take a deep breath. This time, I'll take a nap before I meet up with Arkwade for the evening. I won't think about all the strange things that happened last night for now. I should save that for tonight and discuss them with Arkwade. If I can't even live an ordinary life during the day, I might end up doing something drastic.
よし、まずは朝食だ。
I may not have an appetite, but you can't start the day on an empty stomach. A proper breakfast should help clear up any lingering fatigue from last night. Whoa.
Oh.
I left myself out of bed, but my body just comes crashing right back down again. I'm like a tree being felled by a lumberjack. I fall straight down, slamming my shoulder into the wooden floor. There's no strength in my limbs. I can't even get up. On the bright side, my consciousness is a bit hazy, so I don't feel afraid. My body may be totally numb, but at least my breathing is normal. I muse detachedly to myself that it must be my anemia acting up again. Okay. And so, I simply lie where I fell. I watch the hands of the clock tick by as I wait for Hisui to call me again, which ends up being just past 8 o'clock.
申し訳ありません。どうかお叱りください。シキ様の変調に気がつかなかった私の落ち度です。
翡翠は悪くないよ。いつものことだし、そう大げさに取らない。
I try and talk Hisui down off the ledge, while lying in the bed, the upper half of my body propped up against the headboard. Hisui had found me collapsed on the floor when she came back to check on the room and helped me back into bed, where I'm now resting comfortably.
学校の方には姉さんが連絡を入れてくれました。体調不良による欠席でよろしいのですね。
うん、それで頼む。ちょっと疲れが溜まっていただけだから、学校を休むのは後ろめたいけどね。
立てなくなるほどの疲れはもう疲れとは言えないかと存じます。シキ様は遠野家の長男。ご自分のお体をもっと大切にしていただかなければ困ります。
いや、ちゃんと大切にしてるよ。
I respond to Hisui's scolding with a forced smile. It's incredibly just how panicked Hisui was after finding me on the floor. When she first opened the door, she froze in her tracks for a few seconds. Next, she rushed over to me as though to hoist me upright, but then seized up with a strained look on her face for another minute. She then spent another few minutes pacing anxiously around the room before finally going to call for Kawago-san. In the end, Hisui never actually touched my body, but I could still tell how devoted she was. After that, I returned to the bed with Kawago-san's assistance, was treated to some easy-to-digest rice porridge, and now, here we are. The one silver lining in all this is that Aki had already left for school. If I had collapsed 30 minutes earlier, she might have ended up late for school as well.
とにかくありがとう翡翠。美味しいご飯も食べたし、こうしていれば貧血も収まるから仕事に戻っていいよ。
かしこまりました。ですがせめて診察は受けていただきます。
Are we
今
gonna
朝
call
は
her
荒
Rock
木先
again?
生がいらっしゃい
Yeah.
ますので、これを機にしっかりお体を見ていただくのはいかがでしょうか。
Oh, so that eccentric doctor is here as well. To be honest, I don't need a medical exam, but I don't think Hisui will leave unless I agree. If I have to, then I'll have Professor Arak take a look. I think I'd much rather Kohaku-san do it. I don't really see Kohaku-san as a professional doctor like that, but at least Arak took care of me when I first called her, even though, like, you know, she is herself, but as always, you know, say first. I will call up Arak. Yeah, that's probably the right call. I'm sure Kohaku-san is busy enough as it is with her duties as a maid. I'll ask Professor Arak to handle this instead. I still feel a little on edge around her, but there's no denying she's a professional. Since she specializes in surgery, I should have her examine my wounds. There's always a chance I suffered from some heavy bruising as a result of my scuffle with Noelle-sensei last night, so it might be wise to have her check for that too, just to be on the safe side. Plus, I like her. She's just a great character, overall.
ご指名と聞いてやってきたけど、お客さん悪いところは見当たらないわよ。腕の一本目玉の一つでもいっちゃってるかと期待して飛んできたのに、これじゃ私欲求不満よ。あ、性的な意味もあるけど主に知識欲の話ね。
Okay. Despite continuing to grumble discontently along those lines, Professor Arak dutifully performs a thorough medical examination for me. I was a little worried about whether my legs were recovering properly after the battle against Flav, so after she's done listening to my heartbeat and checking my pulse, I ask her to give them a once-over as well. The results are all normal, no problems. Professor Arak isn't able to contain herself, pouting and grumbling that just who I am supposed to be, for all fruitless. I'll get the reference.
体温は少しだけ下がってるし、よし、つまんないから1本ぐらいお注射決めておきましょう。今回は試しにプラスを見てみる？もともと女性向けの栄養剤だけどおすすめよこれ。
I guess she's talking about the extract derived from a woman's placenta. People mostly use it as a beauty treatment to improve their skin, but it can actually also help you recover from fatigue and even combat the effects of aging.
お願いします。以前お世話になっていた医院でもたまに打ってもらっていましたから。
あらあら、話が早くて助かるわ。さすが病弱少年、痛いのは慣れているのね。
慣れてませんよ。基本は内服薬でしたし、注射はたまにしかありませんでした。
ふむふむ。はーい、じゃあもう一度お手手を出して。はーい、ザッキュー。幹部ごと患者のハート1コロよ。
That might be the worst needle prick sound effect I've ever heard. With the injection complete, the medical examination comes to an end. However, I would have expected Professor Rock to leave now that her work is done, but she simply stays exactly where she is, staring intently at my body.
博士、何かまだ他に要件？
そうなの。診察中にチラッと見えちゃったから気になって。しきちゃん、ガバッと洋服脱いでくれる？
はあ？脱ぐって裸ですか？
そうそうそう。
Where is this
あ、
going?
真っ赤になる必要はないわよ。私もまだトーフちゃんに殺されたくないし。見たいのはしきちゃんの上半身。そちら、胸にすっごい傷跡があるんじゃない？
そっちですか。まあ いいですけど。
I don't particularly want to do this, but since Professor Rock is a doctor, I have no real reason to refuse her. I take off my shirt and sit on top of the bed.
いいじゃないいいじゃない、メープルでジューシーな感じ。いい腕してるって思ったけど、こうして全体として見るとそそるわ。冬ごもって穴蔵ライフになってもシキちゃん一人いれば食うに困らないわ私。
What do you mean by that? Professor Rock pokes and prods me all over my shoulders, upper arms and sides, looking like she's thoroughly enjoying herself. Combined with her rather revealing garments, I have to admit I find myself struggling to suppress my baser urges.
胸の傷跡を見るんじゃないんですか？
おっとそうだった、失敗失敗。おー、なるほど。なんか使ったにせよ完全に塞がってるわ。貧弱なのに代謝機能は人並みというか、生き残りやすいというか、すっごく残念。シキちゃん何も引くものがないんだもの。これじゃあ私も足しようがないって感じ。
After 2 minutes of careful examination, Professor Rock gets up from the bed, curiosity seemingly satisfied.
でもすっごい傷よね。普通の人間どころか映画に出てくる吸血鬼だって死んでるわよ。事故に遭った時はどのくらい痛かったのかしら。私想像するだけでドキドキしちゃう。
そうですか。何でもガラス片が降ってきて突き刺さったらしいです。
I got a little flustered by the sudden mention of vampires and blurted out an unnecessary explanation.
あれ覚えてないの？覚えてないのね。ならそれはまた別の話としましょう。シキちゃんはここに帰ってきちゃったんだもの。どうあがいてももう逃げられっこないんだし。
Hold on. Is it me, or did she just say something weird?
あはーんってなんでもないなんにもない。それじゃあ私はこれにて退場。またいつかラブのタイミングがあった時に会えるといいわね。
Professor Rock leaves the room, her heels clicking against the floor as she goes. What was that about? I'm not sure why, but her retreating figure reminds me of a spider slinking toward its prey. Maybe there's something about her that she's hiding or something. I don't know. Ooh, is this new music? It's now the afternoon. After finishing a light lunch in the dining room, I return to my room. Hisui has been emphatic about the fact that I should spend the day today resting, but I now find myself without anything to do.
体の調子は戻ったんだし、ここは。
Walk around the first floor or the second floor? Second floor, why not? After pondering what to do for a bit, I decide to take my first real stroll around the mansion in 7 years. I'll start by wandering around on the second floor. The Tono mansion consists of 2 wings, east and west. To the east is the office reserved for the head of that family, and beyond that are Akia's private quarters. You could consider the whole area to be her domain. I'm a bit hesitant to go there, so I'll stick to the west wing today. I go out into the corridor of the west wing. The passage directly to my right leads to the lobby. If I continue straight, the corridor will take me to the heart of the west wing. And of course, if I go backwards, I'll be right back in my own room. I was told that the rooms opening onto this corridor are, for the most part, entirely vacant. It seems like they were rented out to our relatives back when my father was alive.
この先の行き止まりが確か。
I'm pretty sure that's the room Tono Makihisa used as a study. Arkue's words from last night come to mind. You can't assume you're the only special one. It's something that runs in the family. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but she would never say something like that without good reason. I'll investigate Makihika's study, not pursue this any further. So we'll save, of course. But I'm kind of curious, so why not? Let's do it.
秋葉は学校に行っている。琥珀さんは買い物で留守。翡翠は1階で清掃中か。
Right now, I'm the only one in this corridor. Rummaging through a dead man's room may be against the rules, but I'm a member of this family, aren't I? It can't be that big of a deal for a son to enter his father's room. Well, it's locked. The room at the end of the corridor is locked. I take my glasses off and sever the line on the lock. Damn, okay. There's no going back now. I glance around the corridor to confirm nobody has spotted me, then slip inside.
なんだこの部屋。暗すぎないか。
You can't make a room this dark just by drawing the curtains. I put a hand on the wall to start groping for the light switch, but then think better of it. Turning on the lights might alert someone on the outside of to my presence here. It's possible I'm just being overly cautious, but I'll limit myself to using the light on my phone to look around. Whoa.
なんだ。思ったより片付いているじゃないか。
The interior design is reminiscent of the office that Akia now uses. Well, our father was still using this room up until a month ago, so no surprises there. Even the bookshelves are still arranged as he left them. The only puzzling thing here is why it's so damn dark. I point my phone toward the window to try and spot what's going on with the curtains. They're locked? What I see makes no sense. It's been sealed shut, but in a way that would feel totally out of place in an ordinary room.
鉄格子。なんで。
It's enough to make me doubt my own eyes. But, unbelievable as it is, the thing in front of me now is definitely real. The window in Makihisa's room has been completely sealed shut. It's not dark in here because of a few blackout curtains blocking all the sunlight. It's because this massive iron grille has been firmly secured over the entire window, almost like it was designed to prevent anyone getting in from outside. Or perhaps, it was meant to keep something inside from getting out. This is bad. I don't know what this darkness is trying to reveal to me, but I can tell it's a secret that should never come to light. This place is a cage built to contain madness. I need to get out of this room immediately. Nobody can know that I was in here. Not Akia, not Kawaku-san, nobody. If they were to find out, I have a suspicion that there would be no going back to the relationship we've enjoyed up until now.
いや、ここまで来て何ビビってるんだ、俺は。
You gonna keep looking around? I press on, lighting the way with my phone. I'm curious about the bookshelves, but I don't have time to go through with them right now. Having a look through the drawers in Makihisa's desk take priority. I don't know what exactly I'm looking for, but my father was extremely meticulous. There's a good chance that they contain documents pertaining to the company, Akia, or even myself. There's nothing in the desk drawers, or at least nothing in the first two, which were already unlocked. The third drawer is shut tight. I guess that nobody was able to open it after he died, so it just got forgotten about. Once again, I take off my glasses and kill the lock.
本。日記帳か、これ。
So how do you plan on fixing those locks exactly after you just cut them open? Inside is a bundle of old papers and a thick diary. The papers seem to be the Tono family tree.
なんだってこんなところに。けど、随分と古い紙だな。
I wonder how many generations have left their mark on these pieces of paper. There's no mistaking it. Below the name of Tono Makihisa are the names of Tono Shiki and Tono Akia. They're there, but...
なんだこれ。親父のやつ、9年前に養子を取ってる。あ、けどすぐに病死しちゃってるな。
9 years ago, I would have been 8 years old. I know it was a long time ago, but even so, I don't remember them at all. Maybe he had a child with a mistress and was keeping them a secret somewhere outside the mansion. Was someone so unbearably uptight as Makihisa even capable of a thing like that?
そんなわけないか。けど、うちの当主ってみんな短命なんだな。親父も50前に病死したわけだし、その前は30歳の時に事故死、その前は18歳で自殺している。
Wait, hold on. Something definitely doesn't add up here. I scan over the family tree again, taking a closer look this time. There's no mistake. All the members of the Tono family have died under unusual circumstances. Suicide, accident, murder, disappearance. Not a single one of them has peacefully lived out their natural lifespan. Oh no. Doesn't look too good for you, does it? I mean, you were disbanded, but you know. You still have that, like, title, don't you? The unbroken sequence recorded here can only be described as a curse. Stranger still is that the majority of the deaths were suicides. The heads of the Tono family repeatedly took their own lives, some before they even became an adult, others not long after. My vision begins to grow dim. I feel as though all my blood is pooling in the back of my head. My limbs have become unsteady, and my breathing is gradually getting more and more labored. I try and escape the dizziness and unpleasant premonitions by turning my attention back to the diary. I turn over the page. The date reads 2004. The year the child Makihisa adopted died of an illness in secret. I scan the text written in the diary. The handwriting fits my father perfectly, concise but neurotic. I read the day's entry aloud, speaking as though delirious with fever.
トーノの一族は呪われている。近代に移ってから生まれてくる子供にはからの覚醒遺伝が。
This was written over 10 years ago. The ink has blurred to the point where I can barely read it.
もちろん私も私の子供たちも例外ではない。秋葉には特に強見られる。我が子の未来を思うと悲しい。紹介された医師の話によると、幼年期から厳しく教育すれば発言は。今夜も手術が必要だという。
Did someone open the
秋葉
door?
に教えることはできない。あの子は私を恨むだろう。
I heard a door opening in the
理由なく
background.
厳しく当たる私を憎むだろう。それもすべて遠野の。だが私は安堵している。どれほど秋葉が後に近と言っても。
The hell is this? The Tono family is cursed? Atavism? Performing surgery on Akiha? And that final line. Who is he referring to? Who is walking up to me? Her brother, her brother, her brother. That has to be me. I don't know who else.
こんにちは、四季君。
My stomach hurts. The wound on my chest has gone numb many times before, but this sort of experience is a first. A sharp stabbing pain, as though a scorching iron rod were searing my internal organs. I start to lose feeling, first in my toes, but the rest of my body soon follows. I begin to collapse, clutching at the desk for support, but my outstretched hands can't hold on forever, and I crumple to the floor, landing on my back. Huh?
その日記はまずい。何しろ、まだ検閲が済んでいない。君に見られる予定もない。
My consciousness fades. That man, wasn't he?
君にはもう少し、あの未熟な当主殿をかき回して欲しかったのだがね。
Did I die?
どうやってかは知らないが、 鍵を手に入れたのが君の不運ということだ。
Oh shit. I realized that my breathing has already stopped. The lines of death, my headache, they felt so concrete, but they're gone now. I see. Only now that things have come to this do I realize that annoying headache would actually have saved me. I mean, without it, I'll never be able to wake up. The body of Tono Shiki, which had been doomed from the start, falls deeper and deeper into a sleep from which it will never awake. Damn. Curiosity did indeed kill the cat. Holy shit. No, I'd better leave well enough alone. Arcwade may have got me wondering about it, but there's no guarantee I'd find any answers inside Makihika's study. Besides, it's way too risky. I wouldn't be able to explain myself if I limped into Akako-san or Hisui in there. I'll just put this all out of my mind and go for a walk around the first floor instead. Sure. I squint at the rays of sunlight streaming through the skylight. No matter how many times I see it, the Tono Mansion lobby is always an overwhelming sight. As a child, I often got in trouble for exploring the mansion. Back then, the mansion was like a castle to me. I was convinced there was a hidden door somewhere that would lead to a world full of never-before-seen wonders. Somewhere between then and now, I lost that childlike naivete, along with my unforgiving father. All of that is in the past now.
懐かしいな。昔は屋敷の廊下を歩くだけでドキドキしたっけ。
I begin to recall bits and pieces of how I used to sneak around this lobby 7 years ago. As if beckoned by those memories, I begin leisurely walking around the mansion. I head out into the terrace. Strangely enough, I seem to remember the outside of the mansion better than I do the inside. The Tono residence is vast. The mansion itself is already 10 times larger than the average house, but the grounds it stands on are the size of your average amusement park. 7 years ago, I would have been 10 at the time. It must have seemed like a world brimming with adventures to be had. Each day I used to methodically walk around, carving my name into trees or on the ground. It was part of a game I used to play with Akia back then, in which we would each try and steal territory from the other. We'd agreed that anywhere you carved your name became your territory, so the two of us would run all over the mansion, carving our names wherever we could. Come to think of it, most of the time I spent playing with Akia was spent in this garden. Unlike me, Akia would actually abide by Makihisa's rules, which only allowed her to play for around half an hour of each day. Though, despite that, she would still trail behind us when we went off to have fun, quietly listening in on what we said from a distance. And when it came time for her to join in, she did so with gusto, running around and competing with us for victory in whatever it was we were up to.
なんだ。あいつ、昔から今の性格の下地はあったんじゃないか。
She must have hidden her true self under 5, maybe even 6 layers of disguises in front of our father. Well, even with all that said, Aki has changed a lot since then. I failed to predict just how much could happen over the course of 7 whole years. Time passes, and she grew up to be a fine adult. Aki and I are no longer the children we once were.
Oh, あったあった。
The exterior of the gazebo built in the courtyard. Low down on the columns, in the nooks and crannies where the sun's rays can't quite reach, you can still see where letters have been scrapped into the stone. I circle around the gazebo, tallying up the crumbling words, Shiki, Akia, Shiki, Shiki, Shiki. It seems like there were 5 matches that took place here. Just like the other spots, it seems like the win-loss ratio here favored me, Shiki. shiki. I'll chalk that up to the fact that as a girl, Akia didn't have quite the same freedom to roam that was granted to the boys.
まったく手加減ぐらいしてやればよかったのに。
Even if I reflect on my behavior as a child, the number of markings will not change. I wonder how many times Akio, who hated to lose, shed tears of frustration as a result.
そうか。案外この恨みを今になって晴らしてるのかもな、あいつ。
It seems pretty unlikely given that we're talking about Akio here, but on the off chance that it's true, it would be extremely adorable.
ああ、なんか俺もとことんバカ兄貴だ。
With a weary smile, I raise my head. It's been fun reliving these memories, but it's about time I return to the... But when I look up, I spot another set of letters high up in the rafters of the gazebo's ceiling.
あんなところに。
How did someone manage to carve them in a place like that? There's no way a child could reach all the way up there. I'm not even sure an adult could.
なんだろう、俺の名前だけど。
I step into the gazebo and climb up on the handrail to get a closer look at the ceiling. It's carved in such a place that an adult would never notice it unless they were crawling around on the ground and then stood up. Hidden in the shadowy recesses of the ceiling in small lettering, "Watch out for your brother." What's that supposed to mean? Watch out for your brother? It's not Akia's handwriting, but then that would mean that I was the one who wrote this. I thought I heard a noise, so I turn around. As I do, I catch a quick glimpse of a brown and white maid uniform through a gap in the trees.
あれ、翡翠。
She doesn't seem to have noticed me. I see Hisui enter the forest, but I have no idea what she could be up to.
なんで森に。
From this point on, there's nothing but trees. I can't help but wonder what she's here to do, considering there's nothing back there. My curiosity piqued. I begin to follow her from a slight distance. While there are no paved roads through the forest, trails have been constructed to allow people to navigate it on foot. It's said that the Tono residence was originally located within these forests. The ground the current mansion and garden sits on used to be nothing more than a trailhead. Apparently, it was only thanks to the efforts of the post-war family head that it became the way it is now. I keep walking through the forest. It isn't particularly deep, but I still can't see any end to it. Somewhere along the way, I catch a sight of a strange-looking building.
あんな建物あったっけ。
Oh. I wonder if that's where Hisui might be headed, but she's currently going in the completely opposite direction. A building deep in the heart of the forest. Maybe it's a temple of some sort. We've been walking for about 10 minutes now. All of a sudden, the trees drop away, and my field of view opens up.
広場だ。
Smack dab in the middle of the forest, the trees inexplicably give away to a wide open field. Just what is this place? I can't say I remember there being anything like this here. This spot is so perfectly concealed by the trees, you'd never guess it was here from the outside. If I hadn't followed Hisui here, it's possible that I would never have known this secluded field existed.
こんなところあったかな。あったなら学校の遊び場だけど。
I don't remember even coming here to play though, or at least not with Akia. I am pretty sure at any rate. After some consideration, I decide to step out into the open. There isn't anything particularly special about this field. Hisui seems to have continued on as well. There's no sign of her now.
なんだ。ただの空き地じゃないか。
The sun's rays are beating down much harder out here in the middle of the field. Even if I don't look directly up into the sky, The sunlight is strong enough that my vision is all washed out. Hello? I can probably chalk it up to the fact that I just left this cool shade of the forest. It's like I've been transported to a hot summer day. When I suddenly come to my senses, I see huge towering thunderheads drifting through the lofty skies, the landscape shimmering in the heat, the overwhelming cries of cicadas, the cicada chorus. Is this where the moment happened? My consciousness is being burned to a crisp. With a thud, I fall to my knees on the scorching sand. I remember. I'd forgotten all about it, but I remember now. The blistering summer sun, the constant cries of cicadas, the suffocating stench of blank, I assume that's blood. At my feet, the lump and mass of something that used to be alive, stained in a deep red. The wound in my chest hurts. It's as if I'm being stabbed. This pain, it feels like a kitchen knife being plunged into my chest. This damn music, oh my god. I killed him. I killed him. I killed him. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. I hear a cicada's person's voice in the distance, even though it's already the middle of autumn. The shimmering summer sun dazzles my upturned eyes. The lukewarm atmosphere makes me feel sick. All I can see are the cast-off shells of the cicadas. The thing at my feet is an empty shell of cicada. An empty shell. Someone's empty shell. My wound opens. A bright red stain seeps across my chest, dyeing even my hands in a deep, glistening crimson. What the fuck is going on? The silhouette of a collapsed figure. I know he's like reminiscing about the moment, but like the sound of a young girl's footsteps approaching. The clouds high up in the sky, that blue, fleeting summer sky, without warning. Akia's bloody, tear-streaked face flashes before my eyes. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Ah, the cries of the cicadas feel like needles trying to pierce a hole in my eardrums. What's happening? My chest hurts. I feel nauseous. My wound closed up long ago, so why does it hurt so much? My chest is being destroyed. The scar opens up, and a red stain oozes out. How could this be? My wound hasn't healed at all. It hurts. I'm scared. This must be what it's like to die. Huh? My consciousness fades. My wound opens up. Pus spills forth. Consumed by the illusionary summer, my mind begins to regress. As if my soul is slipping away, I hear a thud as my body collapses, sprawled out upon the grassy field. Huh?